from the Faculty of Maritime Study, Universiti Malaysia, Terengganu, will present my research entitled Identifying Enablers and Developing the Strategy for Seaport Sustainability and Resilience towards Competitive Seaport Sector and Analysis of Recovery at Malaysian Seaport in preparation for the complementary environmental challenges with economic demand. Generally, as we know, in terms of geographical positions, Malaysia as a maritime nation, due to its geographical position, is in the Strait of Malacca, which is the main route of the world trade.
This can lead to the economic growth of the country that depend on the seaport sector through vigorous port activities, enabling the collections of port tariff to be collected, high employment opportunities and high inflow of investment activities, which can contribute to the national income, leading to continued economic growth. This clearly shows that a significant role is played by the seaport sector, which contributes to the economic growth of the country. This is evident when the statement issued by the UMT United Nations Conference on Trade and Development that maritime transport is the strength of world trade and a vital contributor to the domain economy, when as much as 80% of global trade and more than 70% of value-based global trade are carried by sea and handled by ports worldwide.
Sustainable development. Sustainability is a universal approach that considers ecological, social, and economic angle. So, these three dimensions must be considered together to achieve lasting prosperity for future generations. Meanwhile, sustainable development can be defined as development that meets the needs of the current without compromising the needs of future generations to meet their own needs. Malaysia is no exception to show its commitment aligned with the efforts of other countries in responding to the world call related to sustainable development. This is evidenced by Malaysia's commitment expressed in the 12th Malaysian Plan, which is to promote green growth in line with the country's economic growth with a clean, green and resilient development approach in line with the country's aspirations to preserve world health and make Malaysia a nation carbon-free or zero carbon for long-term well-being and prosperity. Hence, the organizations of social and economic systems should be balanced to ensure sustainable development resulting in increased income, improved educational standards, increased health of the population to a positive level, and improved quality of life of the populations. Besides, sustainable development is seen to enhance the rapid growth of the seaport sector in Malaysia and at the same time to maintain economic and social balance, particularly in relations to developments and operation involving port. In terms of seaport sector, basically port is a place on the waterways with complete facility for the purpose of loading and unloading activity ships, whereas a seaport is the place that provide protections and safe to vessel, a place that involve a variety of goods in the port, and a place where it is outer. The rapid economic growth has also driven to the development of Malaysia's seaport sector. This is because seaport act as a world connector through maritime transport system that promote international trade and upkeep world economic growth. The development of Malaysia's seaport sector in line with the growth of the world economy has also resulted in the environmental pollution through maritime activities in seaports. Directly, it will challenge port managers in their efforts to provide effective and efficient seaport service and at the same time to strive to maintain the environmental level of seaport at positive level to curb worldwide environmental problems. Basically, the green port concept is to maintain the sustainability and resilience of the maritime industry, particularly the seaport sector in Malaysia in line with the environmental sustainability. The concept of green port is seen as very vital to be practiced at aggressively in relation to the Economic Recovery Plan package toward developing green recovery and sustainable development to ensure a balance of three dimensions. As I mentioned before, balance in terms of economic, social, and environment. So directly, it can increase the resilience of the maritime industry in the long run. Generally, Malaysian seaport are divided into two executive control, namely under the federal government and state government control. Malaysia has 7 main federal ports, specifically Port Klang, Johor Port, Port of Tanjung Pelepas, Kuantan Port, Penang Port, Bintulu Port, and Kemaman. These 7 major federal ports are under the control of the federal government, which is under the authority of the Ministry of Transport Malaysia. Meanwhile, under state government control, according to MIDA 2013, there are at least 20 other seaports that incorporate jetties for the purpose of offering passenger service. Ports in Sabah and Sarawak are also administered by port authorities, which report directly to the respective state ministry concerned. The objective of this study are to identify green recovery opportunity for the port sector in Malaysian seaport, to implement best practice in environmental management throughout Malaysian seaport, and to analyze the implementations of green recovery continuously for attractiveness throughout Malaysian seaport. In terms of maritime perspective related to green recovery, the maritime transportation system involves two important elements, which is ships and ports. Environmental impact are identified not only from the operations and developments of seaport, but also from maritime transport involving ships. We already know shipping operations are closely linked to seaport operation, where without shipping, a port is meaningless and unable to carry out the essential functions of a port. Thus, for the sake of economic prosperity and well-being of the world environment, the practice of green recovery is very significant to be applied particularly throughout Malaysian seaport. As we can see on the screen, basically this is the flow about the literature review in terms of maritime perspective related to green recovery. It's cover more about seaport sector that will touch specifically with respect to environmental issue. Next, about the green part that will discuss more about port policy and port governance related to green recovery at seaport sector, program to promote on green recovery, green technology in the seaport sector, government support, port marketing strategy towards green recovery, and skill of human capital towards green recovery. Besides that, we will also talk about the maritime shipping in terms of green recovery that will cover more about the green technologies in the maritime shipping and market price. Lastly, we will look in more depth about sustainable development, which will discuss about the high technology and infrastructure related to green technology and also sustainability initiatives. Consequently, looking at the important role played by the seaport sector in line with Malaysia's economic growth and to ensure the seaport sector remains sustainable and resilient for the long term, environmental factors are also taken into account through efforts to reduce emissions and pollution from seaport activities. Hence, the transitions to the green port status is contain a combination of short-term, medium-term, and long-term method, because this green port strategy is expected to provide an opportunity to combat all the challenges and opportunity related to ecological port operation that can directly benefit in the context of business resilience, climate change alterations, and seaport disaster preparedness. In this study, there are 5 main elements. First, green technology challenges. Second, environmental pollution. Third, government administration. Fourth, green recovery capabilities. And lastly, attractiveness of the seaport. The study also involved 47 items where it identified based on the literature. Using a 5-point Likert scale, 15 expert opinions were collected to determine the consequence of this category. Show the annual carbon dioxide emission per vessel by vessel type in 2019. This clearly shows that the type of ships, ship speed, ship size, hull design, technology, and fuel used by a ship are parameters in influencing the rate of carbon dioxide emitted by the ships per ton of miles. Commonly, large-sized ships will produce more carbon dioxide per mile. Thus, ship types and ship speeds clearly show an influence on total carbon dioxide emissions in 2019. Next, table displays the average weighted port coal power in the top 25 economy in 2019. Overall, Malaysia is ranked 8th out of the top 25 economy with 20.5 for the average number of weighted port hour. This clearly shows that Malaysia has an average longer time in port. This is because, in general, the shorter time taken by ships to anchorage in the port has a positive impact on the efficiency and attractiveness of the port, especially in terms of implementing green recovery practice throughout Malaysia's seaport sector. Furthermore, the average waiting time and short turnaround times in the port can attract more ships to anchorage in the port due to the efficiency of port management, and green recovery applies in the seaport sector and act as an added value to the service offered in the seaport sector. Not only that, carbon dioxide emission produced from ships in port can be reduced by way of reduced waiting time and ship turnaround times in seaport areas. In a nutshell, green recovery throughout Malaysia seaport is a joint responsibility of stakeholders. Experts see that green recovery across seaport is a cooperative responsibility involving port owners, port authorities, port workers, port users, and local communities. Government and non-governmental organizations plays an important role in driving the green recovery of Malaysia's seaport sector. Through incentive and tax relief offered by the government is an effort as a catalyst towards the green recovery of Malaysian seaport sector. Green recovery of Malaysia's seaport requires investment in technology and transformation towards generational change to embrace and implement a new green recovery system. Directly attract new talents and new skill of human capital in handling new technologies and adapting to a greener working environment. Green recovery throughout Malaysia's seaport leads to the growth of the Malaysian economy can increase positively without compromising the quality of the environment.